Hey, and you probably clicked on this video because you want to start and possibly scale your OnlyFans agency in 2025. And the thing is not a lot of people actually put that valuable information out there. And that's why I'm actually here. Now, this is the video I wish existed when I started. If you're looking to start a profitable OnlyFans management agency, or you're stuck trying to land your first client, this video breaks down the exact blueprint from zero to scalable revenue. This could be 0 to 5K, 0 to 10K, or, or even more. And it's no fluff. I don't, get my information from Discord or other creators. This is just me and how I and my wonderful team started, Praxi and how we're going so far. Now, we're covering 4 core segments in this video, and one of them is understanding how the business model actually works, how to get your first client without paid ads, because a lot of these gurus actually just tell you, yeah, run paid ad, that's fine. Like, paid ads without any money is going to be hard. And I'm not saying, like, paid ads obviously help if you do have money to spend at the beginning, but if you don't have money to spend, this is the video you need to watch. Now, number 3 is driving traffic to your model's page and building a funnel on her page so that the views can actually turn into paying subs. Monetization is turning the content into actual revenue, right? Now, this can be hard, and a lot of people actually struggle, monetizing their clients' content and turning those conversions into actual revenue. So I'll break it down to you real quick. Let's get into the video. Understanding the OFM business model. Now, a lot of people have a misconception about OFM that it's easy. And I'm not saying it's not easy, because this is a lot better than, running a SMMA or trading or any of that other bullshit. This is a lot of hard work, but it's a lot better. Now, let's just get it out of the way. This isn't a passive income side hustle. It's a real business with ops, systems, and people involved. You will probably need a team down the line. At the start, you can do this on your own. It's not that hard. That's how I got this thing started. And then I hired a team to make my agency more profitable, scalable, and more efficient. Now, the OFM model is about taking over the high leverage, high skill parts of a creator's business. You know, so this is content planning, growth strategy, lead generation, monetization, and fan engagement. And obviously, things like chatting, things like giving out a content plan, as I just mentioned. And in exchange, you take a percentage of their earnings, typically anywhere from 10 to 50%. I've seen creators take even 80%, which is, no, not 80, sorry, 60. So that's a lot. And it's very rare that that actually happens. But anyway, so that's depending on how hands-on you are. In my agency, we run a hands-on, hands-off approach where we do a lot of the work and we're very engaged with our creators, but we also take a step back and, let our creators do their own thing. So if let's say they want to make a certain type of content, obviously we will advise them on, listen, this is a bad idea. No, this is a good idea. So anyway, you're not just offering your services. You're becoming the engine that runs the business behind the creator. So obviously, at the core, what you want to achieve is the creator only doing content, and pushing as much content as possible. That's what you want. And most OFM agencies fail because they focus too much on fancy branding and not enough on operations. Operations win in the long run, right? What wins in long term is systems. repeatable lead gen, consistent content pipelines, scalable chat processes, and accurate analytics. Now, if you have something that is predictable, then it is scalable, because you know that if 50 DMs get you 2 booked meetings in a week or in a day, you're just going to up the level of outreach you are doing. It's that simple. Now, if you can solve these things, creators will want to work with you because you are not just another guy in the DMs. Most agencies, they go and, yeah, I can bring you 100K in the next 2 months. And I mean, that an OFM check, those people, they are very experienced in the field, and that's why they are able to do that. They have systems that work, right? And obviously, if you're watching this video, you're not there yet. So you can't just be like every other agency out there being like, hey, we can scale you, because everyone's doing that. And, no one's going to be listening. And you'll just end up getting ghosted, getting frustrated, and probably having shiny object syndrome and hopping to the next big thing. Now, number 2 is getting your first client, and this is free organic outreach. Now, you don't need a portfolio to start. What I do recommend is providing as much value as you can. If you have enough value to provide to the creator or model, then obviously they would want you to actually have some, testimonials. But if you don't have any of that, then just provide an extreme amount of value. Because who wants to say no to extreme value? Sorry. You need proof of effort and a way to make people care. The fastest path to client number 1 is cold outreach across Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, and here's what works and what doesn't. I already did a outreach video. We'll link it, up above. Now, Instagram, it's still the go-to, but saturated. You need to stand out because, as we know, a lot of agencies just hop to Instagram and it gets saturated. Obviously, you can stand out, and that's what makes the difference here. But I'm just telling you, most agencies go there and, try and get their first client there. Now, you need to stand out, as I said. There's no generic agency bios, and no we scale creator spam. That's what gets you banned or blocked. Build a profile with a real positioning. What I would suggest is, rather than messaging from a agency account, message from your personal account. Build up your personal brand a bit. Talk about your agency. That lets the creators know that you actually know what you're talking about. So you don't make it, like, as I said, build a profile with real positioning, luxury, niche specific, or results based, and use personalized openers. Less is more. That's so important. Quality over volume. I would say do both. Do quality and do a lot of volume, because there's no point in doing a lot of volume and getting next to nothing out of it, right? But doing a really good quality and hoping to get a client or 2. Now, that's Instagram. Reddit, it's wildly underrated. That's what we used to get our first client. And subreddits like our OnlyFans advice or our OnlyFans 101, those are filled with creators asking for help. These are warm leads, as I said in my previous video. They engage in comments, send personalized message, DMs, and don't pitch up front, because if you do, they will just be like, no, fuck off. But when you have to work like a doctor. That's my point, is, ask questions, find out what's the problem. Once you figure out the problem, then give them the cure to their problem, which is, in this case, your agency. Twitter. You search filters to find creators posting about OnlyFans. Quote, retweet, engage in threads, then drop into the DMs with a non-salesy message. Think of it like networking and not spamming. Now, the thing with Twitter is your account needs to be warmed up. And even though there's a lot of OnlyFans creators on Twitter, a lot of them won't reply. And it's the same with Instagram. It's just the sheer amount of people that actually go to Twitter to message these creators are insane. Now, what do you actually send to these creators? The same rules applies across all platforms. Ditch the script and develop a framework. Use 8 to 10 openers that are curiosity driven, relevant, and unique. Once the message is open, qualify them, find the problem, and offer a real solution. What we do is we send out, like we do the doctor method where we qualify them, find the problem, and then we send them a loom being like, hey, can I, we made this little video for you. Is it fun if we pitch you real quick? They say yes or no. And then we send through a kind of thing. And in this loom, we explain how and what we do. Now, driving traffic to your model's page actually is it's a different story. Signing a model is just the start because that's the easy part. Driving traffic to her page is the hard part. And converting that attention that you are getting into actual paying subs. And here's what's working in 2025. Reddit posting is basically posting in the needed places in Reddit that is, what's the word, specific to your model. So let's say she has brown hair, brunette hair, and she's short and has a fat ass. You will post in subreddits related to your model. Okay. And real specific communities that, people that want those things go and look in those subreddits. That's why that's a gold mine sitting there. Instagram Reels and TikTok clips, we all know this. That's like everybody does this. Create short, high quality vertical content that builds persona, mystery, and desire. Combine trending sounds with behind the scenes, day in the life, a teaser style content. Those are all things you can post for your model. And I would recommend actually building a persona around your model because people buy into personalities and not looks. And we've seen this firsthand. Now, your job is to hook in the first 3 seconds. If you can hook someone in the first 3 seconds, that's it. You're winning. The funnel is really important because if you have a broken funnel or broken link, you're potentially missing out on thousands of dollars. Thousands. And, this is to drive all the attention to a link in bio page like Beacons or Koji or Linktree. That's another one. And on here is probably all the socials, her OnlyFans. If she does have a Telegram that, or maybe she sells on another page, you can link that as well. Now, the content funnel should have 3 tiers: the hook, the CTA, and monetization. Actually, let me show you a example of this. So here, you have the marketing funnel, and obviously you get all the attention. Cool. Now they're interested. So they're interested. No, sorry. You get attention from your reels. This guy thinks, oh, this model's so sexy. Cool. That creates interest. Now he wants to go and see, oh, does she have an OnlyFans? Okay. He goes into your link tree. After that, he's like, oh, I want to purchase. He takes action. and boom, you make money. Okay. It's that simple. And this is the funnel you want to have. Now, if you can push traffic daily with content and funnel it cleanly, you've built a system that prints attention, and attention equals money, especially in 2025. Attention is the new currency. I would say it's even more valuable than oil or gold. Now, making money is the last step here. Let's talk monetization. There are two primary engines: getting new subs and maximizing that LTV, the lifetime value. The getting new subs, that's not the hard part because that's where your content comes in. If you have good and relatable content and people actually want to watch your content, then getting subs is not a problem. Just remember that your funnel needs to be set up correctly for this to actually bring in new subs. This comes from your content marketing strategy. How well you convert eyeballs from TikTok, Reddit, IG into subscribers. Volume, consistency, and CTA clarity matters most. Are you posting daily? Are your bios optimized? Are your captions click-worthy? These are all things to actually keep in mind when creating content and posting it on these platforms. Now, B is maximizing lifetime value. This is where OnlyFans chatters and PPV systems come in. Chat isn't just small talk, it's revenue. And I don't know if you guys have seen, but chatting is where most money is being made. It's not off of your subs, it's not off of tips, it's from chatting, especially chatting. Now, every conversation should either move the fan forward towards a purchase, which can be a custom, a tip, or PPV, or reinforce the emotional bond to the model, because this is really important. You don't want to go off and be like, yeah, buy this, buy this, buy this. No, what you want to do is want to build a bond with this model. And once you build reinforce this emotional bond with the fan, that's when they actually want to spend they want to spend more money on you. That's where the real money is, building that emotional bond between the fan and the model. And extended retention with value-based messages. So a value-based message could be, hey, good morning, sleep well, how was your day, did you eat lunch, things like this, right? It's really valuable to these fans, and that's what makes them actually want to stay, and that keeps them there. Now, you need to train your chatters with a sales first mindset. Track their close rates, split test messages, sequences, monitor fan replies, and PPV opt-ins. Now, I'll actually show you how ours look. Okay, so here you can see we are tracking. This is obviously just a example, but we track everything: total messages, average response time, the engagement rate, how many new fans engage, and how many are returning. Obviously, their revenue, that's also something we track. And then it's something cool we do is we have a leaderboard. And obviously here you can see John Doe in this example did $10,000 in sales that week. And obviously, if they reach these milestones we set, they get, extra money. And here's just a dashboard of that leaderboard. Now, going back, at the end of the day, you're taking a cut, which is probably 10 to 50%. It can be more, but keep in mind that OnlyFans also takes 20% of the model's revenue. So your job is to make sure the pie grows. The more she earns, the more you both win. Starting an OFM agency isn't hard, but scaling one requires obsession with processes, value, and systems. If you can master those four things: business model clarity, smart outreach, traffic generation, and monetization, you're already ahead of 90% of the market. Like, so, like, comment, and with your biggest takeaway, and subscribe if you want more no BS strategies to actually grow your OFM business in 2025 and beyond. Now, if you are a model and would want someone to take over what you are already doing and, without the unusual guesswork, let me know. Send us a DM on Instagram or reach out to us on Twitter. That's also fine, and we'll get in touch.